Hey everybody, welcome back to my shop. It's your boy, Dan, that's me. This is my shop where I basically just kind of work on whatever I want to. I've taken on some really crazy projects here. Like I'm LS swapping my 73 Camaro, that's this thing right here. Got some jet skis that my girlfriend and I work on from time to time. 89 Mustang that I'm completely rebuilding from the ground up, and I do mean like literally from the ground up, but you know, whatever. Ambulance for a friend of mine that we're converting into a tiny home so he can live in here. Believe it or not, he's gonna live in here. And then this thing, which is my 2015, I think it's a 2015, Denali 3500 HD. Bought this thing from a company called 74 Auto down in Missouri, little old town in Missouri. Hee-haw, hee-haw, hee-haw. Needed a lot of work, needed a frame swap. Of course, most of you guys probably all know this. This is for the new guys, or girls, or whoever. Anyway, point is, I've been rebuilding this thing for quite some time. It sat for a long time, frame swap stuff takes forever, blah, 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 national crisis. You guys know how the song and dance goes. I've been working on this thing for well over a year and it needs to be finished up. But we've gotten a lot of stuff done and we made a lot of progress. Right now, the rear of this entire back seat is completely taken apart because of this damage right here. It's finally time I start taking care of this. This has been a plague on this build for a long time, is the cab damage. When it was hitting the rear end, it bent the frame and sent the OEM bed into here, and then blah. So we need to replace this cab damage. I have a repair panel at Magnum Collision, but we gotta pull the window out. I'm waiting on a call back from the guy who can do that. I had planned on redoing my Starlight headliner, but plans have changed because of the car accident, and I've got some other big plans in the works, which means that I want to get this thing done. I want to get it on the road, registerable. So I got to do a couple things. I'm going to have to skip a couple of my previous steps, but I'm going to kind of save that towards the end because I got a couple other stuff here that I ordered for this thing a long time ago, and I do mean a long time ago, probably a year ago. Some LED headlights, which I don't know, these aren't sponsored or anything like that. I bought these on Amazon for cheap as fuck, but I don't even know if these are gonna work because I don't remember what harness hardwire I have for the headlights. I might have to get new headlight wiring because I know we took everything apart. Forgive me, we took everything apart. And then this, which is basically a whole wiring harness for the rear end of the junction box for the taillights. Yeah, this all looks pretty much correct. I think this is for the junction box, and then yeah. Oh, okay, I see here. This is the parking aid system wiring harness. That's right, because the rear bumper and this rear wiring harness was completely stripped and gone, but I think these plug into your rear sensors for reverse, and these are your license plate light housings. So I should probably get an OEM bumper. Like I talked about building an off-road bumper like I did the front. I think, but as far as to save time right now, I'll just do the OEM bumper. I think that's probably the smart thing to do. But this is really easy. I mean, I don't have any of the hardwire that goes for it, but it literally just plugs in right there. So I might just plug it and tuck it like a Jenner, you know what I'm saying? Ooh, demonetized. That fraternity boy won't know what hit him until the next morning when he can't sit up straight. You know, that chick was kind of cute, but her Adam's apple kept hitting mine. Well, that looks good. I know it sounds like a small thing to have done, but that wiring harness just sat at my house for the past like 8, 9, 10 months. I don't even want to talk about this. The last video I uploaded on this was like right before SEMA. And I'll be honest with you, man, SEMA of 2019 about killed me. I don't think I'm recovered just yet. But I don't even know if I have the right wiring harness for these. So I'm gonna check. All right, I was wrong. I do have all the hardwire and wiring that I need. This is like the 3rd or 4th time I've had to break apart these headlights, so stop yelling at me. Since I'm not the one who originally set up these headlights, which were set up with these HIDs, which are cool, you know, like HIDs were the absolute shit when I was in like high school, right? I don't know anybody who still runs HIDs. I'm sure there's some benefits of HIDs over LEDs, but not for me. So since I didn't set these up, I didn't know how the wiring in this worked, which is really freaking weird because the whole system goes in through this plug and then goes in here, and then a lot of the wiring is internal. I guess the guy who did the wiring before me had already done this part, and I did splice this in for the running lights so that they would, the demonize would turn off when the LEDs were on, or the HIDs at the time. But yeah, super simple. These should just pop in there like OEM. That took entirely way too much effort, but now these are super bright LEDs. I'm gonna prove it to you in just a second. So this is demonize on, running lights on. When I go to flip the actual headlights on, those will kill. So those are the low LEDs. Obviously this one isn't put in or set up yet. I was digging through wires thinking that I just needed to find a separate wire to plug the headlights in, but I was wrong. These are unrelated. Those are probably intake or something. So nice bright LEDs. I still need to clean that headlight up. And they have a distinct click. I mean, it's something. You can hear it click when it goes to highs. These are the highs. So this whole time I'm sitting here thinking that I'm gonna have to order a whole new harness for this thing, and I just find out that the way it's wired is already ready to go for me, which is just about as convenient as it can get. I don't even think I have to pull out the other headlight. I think I can just pop this one back in and it'd be good. I am missing a plug on my horn relay. So I don't know where that is because the horn doesn't work, but that'll have to be fixed. Now, while I was also digging around in this headlight, I wasn't gonna pull it out, but I noticed that the blinker on this side was stripped out. It looks like the person junction that they did, that was just a little bit too short. So I'm gonna basically just redo that. Nice and tight, that ain't going nowhere though. There we go. Very clean, very clean. Then I just gotta redo it to whatever bullshit they've done up here. See, now isn't that so much better? See, I talk a lot about wiring, and I know it ain't no Rob Dom level of wiring either, but I take that shit pretty seriously. That also gave us some extra room with the headlights too, which is nice. Whew, those look good. Happy with that. We have headlights, we have working headlights. Man, things just keep getting better and better right now. So I start taking apart the truck horn, trying to figure out what's wrong with it. I took the original plug off, which is this bad boy right here. This was what was plugged into it originally. And then I plugged it into the spare plug that was just kind of hanging off. And now, I guess when we put it back together, originally, we used the wrong plug. So I don't know what this other plug go to. Maybe the front something or another, but the horn works. Very happy about that. So I'm gonna figure out a good place to mount this, which is actually right here. And yeah, perfect. Horn works. One of the other things that I've been tracking down on this thing is ABS issues. Now I have a couple of sneaking suspicions what the issues are. That being said, I don't know for certain, but I've found something. On these rigs, they have ridiculous, annoying stabilitrak ABS. It's a pain in the ass. I've been fighting it for a hot minute now, but I came under here and found one of my ABS lines not plugged in. This goes, well, I say this goes, but I had to Google it to make sure. I have one ABS line plugged in up here, blue and black and white and black, or gray and black wires. Then I also have another one, which is like a violet or a purple with white and yellow lines as well. Now I'm over here trying to figure out which one's going to what. So I do my handy dandy Googling, find a absolutely perfect schematic breakdown for this entire vehicle, and I also find the color of the wheel speed sensors. So gray and black is my left rear, then my right speed sensor is VT, which is violet, and gray and yellow. So I know that this one that's not plugged in, which is violet and gray and yellow, I know that this is for my back right wheel. So I'm gonna plug that in and see if that fixes it. Still says service stabilitrak. Well, the ABS and the stabilitrak issue still perplexes me because I'm dumb. You know, it's not that hard. But real talk, I've narrowed it down to probably like 3 things. First problem is kind of the same as the second problem, but they're both together. So on this truck, this year ABS wire runs down here. This is continuation of the ABS wire, and then it goes behind the hub here. Little hole right there, yeah. There's another one just like it on the other side. That runs back up into the wiring harness, goes all the way back down to underneath it into a ABS control module. It's like a pump/module. It's actually not that complex now that I think about it. I was really worried about it being like super nutty, but really all it is just some wires that run from the ECU to the pump, to the ABS. So that means on my idea of the first problem and second problem is that at one point or another, putting these wheels back on somehow pinched the ABS sensor, the wheel speed sensor behind the wheel hub, and that's throwing one of the codes. Alternatively, the ABS control module might also be bunk, so it could be busted. Which explains why, like when I go to read the codes on the ABS, it says not detected, which I think means that the ABS system is not being detected. Also why there's no difference between me pulling the fuse and not pulling the fuse. I think on the low end of it, it's the ABS control module, which is actually not that hard to replace. That would be really convenient, but expensive. And then finally, the probably not as expensive but time-consuming aspect of it. One of the grounds between those two systems, or a wire's been pinched, or something like that has been disconnected. But at the end of the day, the one that's on here, I think has been giving me issues anyway before the breakdown. Because I was still having the issue where sometimes the engine would cut off and lose power and stuff like that, which does sound like a faulty ground or something like that. I don't know, but it's been like that since I've gotten it. So maybe I just go and replace the ABS module because why not? It's gonna require a lot of effort wire-wise because I'd essentially have to trace this wire all the way back. So trace all these wires back into the splitter here, and I follow them all the way down this big clusterfuck, make sure there's no splits or unattached grounds and all that crap. Then it goes all the way here and splits above the frame here and goes in this little module box right here. This does a lot of stuff. It's got a pump in it too to allow you to bleed the brakes, but the mechanics that bled the brakes for me, because I couldn't figure it out, had issues with this as well. So I'm thinking maybe the pump is just bad, and if that's the case, disconnect the lines. I don't even think I had to disconnect the lines. I think I just pull off the module controller and then be good to go. I don't know. I might chase grounds one more time, but I'm gonna price out a new control module. Okay, with that being said, I think what I'm gonna do now is put back in my wheel well cover. I have this one in over here, but I need to trim it because obviously it's different with the bumper. So I'm just gonna trim this and make sure it's nice and snug in there. And boom, I just took a razor blade and one of these pieces of shit and cut alongside and then cut along the inside of it and tucked it. Did the same over here. They both look really good, nice and strong. And yeah, I need an exhaust. I need a muffler on this thing. Not a muffler, definitely need an exhaust pipe right now. I have the down pipe, just like, I don't even think this is mounted all the way. Oh yeah. Yeah, this isn't even mounted all the way, so it's just kind of dumping directly out of the header. Almost, I mean, like past the turbo, so it's not that big of a deal, you know. Sure would like to probably get the exhaust all the way back on. I'm sure they'll need that for me to get it registered. What is this, too? No, this has not been plugged in. None of this has been plugged in. This is probably some delete shit for the emissions or something. Ooh, hey pretty lady, haven't seen this nice big old fuel tank. Good old 60 galones. All right, so the last thing I really wanted to do today was just tighten up that exhaust like I was telling you about. It's been loose and been rattling, but I went in there and I, behind here, got it nice and tight. And so now I wanna see if that kind of like got rid of the, there's been like a weird sound, like kind of near. It just sounded different since the last time I drove it, and I wasn't sure if that had anything to do with it. Honestly, sounds pretty darn good. And I only ran it for a little bit. Don't worry, the shop's ventilated, so I'll be all right. I think the point is that drivability-wise, we're like at 90%. There's nothing stopping it from driving, and I don't know if I'll have any issues getting it to pass inspection with the stabilitrak going out. So I might have to pass that off to somebody else if I can't figure it out. But as far as everything else is concerned, taillights work, blinkers work, headlights work, horn works, radio works, all the electrical stuff is worked. Like we had tons of electrical issues coming out of the frame swap, but they're almost 99% of them are taken care of, the last one being the stabilitrak. So where does that leave us? That leaves us, I guess, body repair. I do need the wiring harness for the LED side markers. You know, like these things, these don't come on because they're not wired up right now. I think I need to swap the grill. I'll probably go back to an OEM grill just to get it done. Yeah, so all the roof lights work, the blinkers work, the side markers work. Well, these side markers, not these. I think that's it, man. I think that's the last of the wiring issues that need to be addressed. We'll get the ABS module taken care of. If not, we'll delete it. I don't know. We'll get that ABS module taken care of one way or another. Then it's bodywork, paint. If I'm gonna go that route, I don't know if I can just wrap it and call it good. I have no idea. But like I said, I want this thing registerable. I want to be able to drive it on the road. A little bit of body panels that need to go on there. Definitely need to put the intake back in. All right, you know, I'm gonna order a new intake. What's the, oh yeah, what's this one? What a, intake. But we're very close, guys. I'm trying to keep things a little bit more simple, a little bit more short now that I'm doing a bunch of stuff and my production's been ramped up. Some of the small videos like this, I might still edit. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next one.